money. What a great song. That's like the number one song I think about when I think of New Vegas. It's just there's times I just stop in my tracks just to listen to that song. But I'm sure there's a bunch of other classics in there. Uh New Vegas, man. What a game. You know, I always maintained, it's no surprise. I've said this ad nauseum that Fallout 3 is my favorite video game of all time, followed by Oblivion. Which to me they're both the same game, just in different settings. You know, one you can shoot fireballs, the other one you can shoot fireballs out of a gun. Of course, I'm just it's not that simple, but you know what I mean. Same engine, I believe. Good stuff, man. And I've spoken about the Fallout series. As a matter of fact, it was my first ever video, and I don't think I've ever specifically spoke about New Vegas. And also, I have a weird schedule when it comes to video games. Like I have a game that I play at home, a single player game that I play at home. I have a multiplayer game that I play at night with my friends, and then I have a game that I play at work on my break on my Steam Deck. So I have three games that I'm playing simultaneously. And the games that I'm playing now that are on rotation right now for my single player game, I'm playing Stalker Clear Sky. From what I hear, it's the worst out of the bunch. At first I was like, some of these complaints maybe are far fetched, especially with the grenade spamming. I was like, how can the grenade spamming be that much of a problem? Oh my God, it's so bad. Like, I considered getting mods. I'm playing in vanilla, no mods whatsoever, master difficulty. And I'm just like, bro, it's so on. And you bleed, my God. Someone was saying, like, you bleed for everything. Every little thing you bleed. And then you have to use more than one bandage to heal yourself. It's such a, like, immersion breaker. And not only that, if you don't have a bandage in your, like, I think there's three stages to your bleeding. I think the worst stage, you're bleeding out rapidly and you need to use multiple bandages to completely staunch the bleeding. Staunch, that the word? Stop the bleeding. I think a light bleeding, you just use one. And I think the lightest, I think it kind of goes away on its own, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe they all go away on their own before you die. Maybe they just take like a large chunk of your energy. I'm not sure, but geez, it's so annoying. Lots of people were right. For once, the internet wasn't extremely bitchy about Clear Sky, and I can see why this is regarded as the worst out of the Stalker trio. Well, actually, now Stalker 2 is coming out this Wednesday. Thank God. Can't wait to play that. Pre-ordered it, ready to rock. Hope it doesn't disappoint. And it's a shame because these little elements mess up a game that otherwise everyone who did play Clear Sky, they go, yeah, it's a little linear, and all that, the grenade spamming and the bleeding thing, it's a pain in the ass. But overall, it's a pretty solid game, and I agree. If you can get past those moderate, I'm not gonna say minor annoyances, they're definitely moderate. It's not game breaking, but it's definitely annoying. So the game that I'm playing now, my single player would be Stalker Clear Sky. My multiplayer game is still Sunken Land. We're still finishing that up. We're having fun with that. And then my Steam Deck game that I play at work on my break would be Fallout New Vegas. I'm revisiting that. I put it on hardcore mode. I did put it on the very hard difficulty for the first few hours. Like I played it for maybe a few weeks, if I'm not mistaken. But when I say a few weeks, I mean like I'm playing maybe 2 hours while I'm at work. I'll go take my break, and then at the end of the day, when everything's wrapped up, I'll go and play again for like another hour. So when I say a few weeks, I'm talking about maybe 6 hours a week. So it's not, that game is massive. So it's not. I'm not hitting it really hard, but I did play on very hard and hardcore. Now I'm just playing on hard and hardcore because I, back then games, I'm sure some still do this, but they like to artificially inflate the difficulty, right? It's like, oh, the harder you adjust the setting, the more hits, the more of a bullet sponge your enemies will be, and the less of a bullet sponge you will be. So your defense decreases and their offense increases. I feel like that's kind of artificial. I would like, and I'm sure Arma did this, which I really loved. It's like the higher you put the difficulty, the more tactical and smarter your enemies will get. Like they'll start proning at higher difficulties. They'll start using foliage, for cover. They'll start, I mean, as as smart as Arma AI can be, we all know how wonky the AI Arma could be. I played that game for like 450 hours, or something along those lines. A lot of it was the launcher being open for long periods of time, but I put a significant amount of time, and I can tell you straight up that the AI is wildly inconsistent. You can either get beamed from 3 football fields away, or they'll miss completely while they're near you. Like it's very inconsistent. But what was my original point to this? The inflation of AI back then, at least when New Vegas came out, was just like make the enemy stronger and make the player weaker. And it sucks because I really did want it to finish the game on uh, very hard difficulty, but it's just all it does is just you just wasting your ammo. You're headshotting someone with a fucking 357 Magnum, 7 times, and they're still not dead, and you're like, this is crazy. This is just out of the world crazy. So I put it on hard, and so far it's been all right. They're still kind of bullet spongy, but it's a little more manageable. I don't want to put it on normal, although that's probably honestly the best way to play Fallout. Usually, I recommend to play games on the harder difficulty so you can get challenged. But these older games, they're probably better if you play normal, where both of y'all can do the same damage for the most part until you start to beef up and start to take perks. Not those perks, but like buffs to increase your defense or offense or whatever the case may be. I play this game, right? Vegas, and I'm sitting there in the lobby and I'm playing the game, and it's I've said this before, like it's a bittersweet feeling when I play games like this. Oh, by the way, if you hear whirring in the background or some sort of a noise while I'm talking, my heater is on. So sorry about that. But also I got gum in my mouth that should spill out. But it's a bittersweet feeling because here I am, right? I'm doing missions around Freeside, right? And I'm just walking around, just looking at the atmosphere at this nighttime, right? I'm near the strip. I can't get in yet. I need 2,000 caps. I don't have it. So I'm just doing side quests to pick it up, and also just doing side quests in general because I enjoy them. And I'm walking down the street and I see the caravan pass by, like a salesman or like a trader, and he's got, the Brahma with him behind him and also some armed escorts. And I'm just looking around at the atmosphere, and even though the game's dated, yeah, it looks a little boxy. It looks good, don't get me wrong, but it is an old game and it doesn't let you forget. The way you walk, it's like you're floating. You can't see your legs or nothing. So it's just like there's no head bobbing or nothing. So it just looks like you're just floating through the world. I'm not a big fan of that. But, that's a small price to pay for such greatness. So I'm walking down the street. I'm seeing all the traders with the caravans, and I'm seeing the hawkers, and the people selling goods, and they have the little stands. And one lady's selling water, or the other dude's selling meat next to the lady with the water. And I'm just like, oh my God, the atmosphere in this game is just, it's so phenomenal. And it's more than nostalgia. It's much more than nostalgia. It's quality. It's just something that's so good. It's like, if you built good craftsmanship lasts the test of time, right? Like someone can make like a sturdy wooden table in the 70s. And although in 2024, through the passage of time, that table is going to have nicks and bruises and slices and chips and scuffs and discoloration, but it's still there and it's still sturdy, and you can fucking throw your entire body weight on it and it'll still hold. That's craftsmanship. That is Fallout 76. It is a sturdy wooden table that has survived the passage of time with just nicks. I wouldn't even say any major dents or scratches or even breaks or cracks. It's just dents, maybe a little discoloration, but the dents are mostly because of the gameplay is a little older, graphics are a little older. Gunplay is so. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's fun to shoot shit. It's just it is a little immersion breaking when things are bullet spongy. But at the same time, I wish there was a mode where you guys, I mean, normal mode does it for the most part until you start to take perks. But I wish there was a mode in Fallout 76. Whoa, hold up. I didn't mean to say 76. Fallout New Vegas, I wish there was a mode where no matter how much the difficulty scales, you guys stay 1-1. Meaning that like just a few bullets can kill me and just a few bullets can kill them. Like kind of like fair, like a fair playing field. But I guess that'll be kind of maybe a mod does this. I wouldn't be surprised. Mods do everything, but that'll be cool. In the meantime, I'm sticking it on hard. But I'm sitting there and I'm playing. I get this bittersweet feeling because here comes this game. Well, here is this game that's just beautiful. It's got a lot of racy content, a lot of jokes that are dark, and it's a little risque, but still respectful. And some of the characters on there are a little gritty, and some are a little slightly racist, and some just say some fucked up shit about situations where you're just like, oh my god, like kids nowadays will have a heart attack if they heard a joke like this because everyone's so goddamn sensitive and censorship is at an all-time high. This is where the bitter part of the bittersweet feeling that I get comes from, because there might not be another game that Bethesda, I know this was Obsidian. I keep saying Bethesda, but Bethesda did contract Obsidian to make a game, so it is ultimately a Bethesda game. It's been created by Obsidian, but it's like also a Bethesda game. I think Bethesda published it, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to use Bethesda and Obsidian interchangeably here, just in case some of you are confused. But whether it's Bethesda or Obsidian, like it, I don't know if there's ever going to be a game like this again, right? Especially with the current political climate where you can't say shit. You can't say anything without someone quickly calling you a homophobe or a racist or a bigot or a sexist. Like you can't make jokes. You can't make jokes. You can't make fun of gay people. You can make fun of straight people, white people. You can't make fun of gay people. They're protected. They're sacred. You can't make fun of black people. They're protected. They're sacred. You can't make fun of minorities in general, including myself, like Puerto Rico. Tony Hinchcliffe said a joke about Puerto Rico recently, saying that it was like a floating island of garbage. Right off the bat, as soon as I heard it, I laughed because I know who Tony Hinchcliffe is. Man, I don't know him personally, obviously, but I mean, like, I'm familiar with his work, and I know that I'm like, that's totally something he would say. So I laughed. But it did become like a slight uproar. For the most part, Puerto Ricans were like, half of them don't know who Tony Hinchcliffe is, and the other half is just like, I guess he meant that as a joke. Okay, and they moved on. We're not as sensitive as other people would be about shit like that. But I laughed. I didn't. I'm obviously I'm Puerto Rican, and I heard the joke, and I'm like, I know that he was trying to do the shock value thing. He's an insult comic, and he's damn good at it too. So it's like, yeah, of course he would say something. That's totally on par with what he would say. Turns out, after I got some more context on the joke, it turns out that Puerto Rico literally is a floating isle of garbage. He didn't mean the people. He meant like our landfills are overflowing and that trash is literally surrounding the island. It is a floating island. He meant that literally, which makes it even it's fucked up, but it makes it a little more funnier because I'm like, oh shit, I can totally see how someone misinterpret that. But even if he meant that the people in Puerto Rico are trash, I still would have laughed. Just because I'm like, of course he's gonna say that. I know he doesn't mean that. If you don't know boys, girls may not understand this, but if you don't know boys, even though I did meet some girls with some dark sense of humor, if you get a bunch of boys together in a room, we're gonna say some fucked up shit to each other. It's gonna be racist. It's going to be not politically correct. It's going to be offensive, but we're all just trying to outdo each other because that's what boys do. We, we're we're like playful toxic. We don't mean any of that shit. We don't mean any of it, but we're saying it to get a reaction out of each other. I I do it all the time with my friends. My friends do it all the time with me. My black friends, my white friends. We say racist shit to each other all the time, and it's hilarious to all of us because we know we're not that. But you can't joke like that nowadays. You can't even joke about stuff that's like just on the borderline of you saying any of this, let alone directly saying anything about it. It's That's where the bitter comes from when I play games like Fallout New Vegas because nowadays, if the next Fallout, the next Elder Scrolls is if it can look at Starfield. Starfield's so unbelievably bland. They played it so safe. You know, they had DEI representation everywhere. It's crazy. Can you imagine being a developer and making an engine where it randomizes NPCs based on certain parameters, and those parameters would be make more Asians. I want to see more Asian NPCs. I want to see more black NPCs. I want to see more Spanish NPCs. So you have that's what it seems like to me. It seems like they're whatever engine or whatever mechanic that they used to randomize these NPCs, they're like DEI NPCs, which is so weird because you're literally injecting like politics and ideologies into a video game through its code. Like you're injecting this DEI virus for the most part. This DEI shit is not good. The way I see it is if you are always constantly focusing on someone's skin color or race or sexual orientation, that's not good. You should be focusing on that person's qualities. Is this person a decent person? Doesn't matter if he's gay, doesn't matter. But this is I'm preaching to the choir. You know this, but of course you're going to pretend to be outraged. Of course you're going to try to attack me or anyone that says sensible things because that's another thing. Fake outrage is like, I can't believe you just said that. You're not really mad, bro. You've got better things to do. You've got rent to pay. You've got you got to go to work. You're not really mad. You're just doing that to signal to your tribe like, hey, let's attack. It's a lot of weird shit's going on, and none of it apparently of what I'm talking about has to do with New Vegas, right? I'm making a super wide. I got lost in the weeds there. That's what I do. I get scared because if Starfield is any indication, the next Elder Scrolls or the next Fallout is going to be politically correct. It's going to be bland. It's going to be they're going to play it safe. There's not going to be any racist jokes. There's not going to be anything racy or risque. It's not going to be anything controversial. It's going to be safe. And I understand that a lot of that is also business wise, right? Like business wise, you have to you have bosses to report to. You have shareholders, people who are investing in your company. You have to turn a profit. You have to look at trends. What is selling? We have to do something similar to that, even if it means compromising the integrity of our original belief of the game, of our original aim and vision of the game. Even if we have to compromise that, we have to follow the current trends in order to make money for our bosses or for whoever it has some sort of an investment in our company. I don't know a lot about politics or about business, but I'm sure that there's a lot of that happening. So therefore, you've got these games that before took bold risks because maybe they weren't as big, meaning that like they didn't have as many people invested in the game. They were doing good, but they were allowed to they had more freedom to do what they wanted. And now it's a little different, like Todd Howard. I understand that right at this point he's just like a figurehead. I'm not sure how much sway he has in the company anymore, but like the way he talks about things, he reminds me a lot of Bill Gates. Like they sound like they're just towing the line. They sound like they're just like, like I don't want to offend nobody, so I'm just going to give whatever these overlords of mine want. If they want more gay representation, we're going to make the entire game gay, even though lots of people are going to be like, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, can we focus on the fact that this game is about fucking dragons? You're talking about homosexual. Like, can we focus on that? I don't care. I don't give a shit who you want to have sex with. I want to fight a dragon, brother. Speaking of dragon, it's funny because I'm seeing this Dragon Age game, this new one. And I swear to you, the first tag I see is LGBTQ. And I'm just like, but what does that have to do with dragons? I'm trying to make the connection. Gay dragons? I don't know. But that's the shit that I'm talking about. It's just like we've strayed so far that even in our fiction, we're adding beliefs and political ideologies. What is going on? Like I just want to play a game where I'm having fun and you're I don't know if it's true. I have not played this game and I don't intend on playing this game, but someone wrote in the reviews that there's like a 10-minute segment stressing the importance of not assuming someone's gender. I heard that from several people. Don't know if this is true or not, so I'm not going to run with it, but this is something that is 100% possible in today's age. It's just like, why are you lecturing me, bro? I didn't pay fucking, what is it, $70, $80 for this game to get fucking lectured by anyone, bro. Like, you're not, what gave you the moral high ground to sit there and point your finger at me and go like, this is how you should think? How about you just fucking do your job and make an entertaining piece of software that I can play? I'm not looking for ideologies. I'm not looking for your opinions, buddy. Like I'm good. I just want a fun game. And it's angering. I'm a little upset, in case you haven't noticed, because we've strayed, man. We've strayed, and it's so people throw, like I said earlier, they throw the word racist, they throw the word homophobe, they throw that shit around like confetti. Like it's so crazy how you can just do that now. Like before, it used to be like, hey, you need some valid proof to call someone those names. Those names are horrific. They're reputation destroying. They're a lot of these people who do that, run around and call people names and stuff. They're very pro censorship. They're very like they're very pro deplatforming. They're very like, oh, whoever I don't agree with should be censored, should be deplatformed. And it's like, no, no, you're literally erasing everything that it means to have free speech. You got to let these people talk. Let the crazy people talk so you can let the other non-crazy people go like, look how fucking crazy these people are. You know what I mean? And then you come up with better solutions to these crazy people's problems. Not censorship is just going to make them angrier. It's going to make them come back and be even more angry because you stop them from talking. Let them talk and then go, look, this is why your fucking crazy plans don't work. And then you implement the good plans. And I don't know, man. So Fallout, great game. There's literally nothing that I can really say that has not been covered by other YouTubers and other people who are way more eloquent and more smarter than I am. They can tell you how great Fallout New Vegas is, and it is. It's you already know it's by a large margin considered the best out of the entire series. And there's quite a few games in this series, and I can see why. Once you play, it's charming. It's the music, the atmosphere, the missions. They're memorable. The characters are memorable. The world is memorable, and it's scary, man. Well, scary is being me being dramatic. It's worrying to know that, like, wow, we may never have this again. This may be a moment in time, right? Like where we will always have to go back. We will always have to go back to play Vegas and be like, damn, I remember when Bethesda was this good, you know. And all the shit that I set aside, it's like once again, I don't know the real reason why the quality has changed. I would assume that it's because of today's political climate. It's very difficult for you to toe the line, right? You want to not offend no one, but at the same time, you don't want to decrease the quality of your work. And sometimes I see the latter being done, right? I see people gladly sacrificing the quality of their work, the original visual, the original vision of their game for, you know, whatever is popular at the time, whether it's DEI practices, whether it's fucking vampires or zombies. You know, it's there's always some sort of a weird theme. And I always said that we're gonna look back at this time, and we're gonna look back, and we're gonna look at all of the stuff that we created during like post COVID and pre COVID, and it's all gonna fall in a bubble, right? Like all of everything that's considered. I'm trying to avoid the word woke because that word triggers a lot of people, and some people don't know what it is at all, and they use it. Those are the people that give woke a bad name because woke does mean something. It means a lot. But I see it all the time. People go, oh, this is woke," and it's like, but you got to explain. You got to get into detail because other people are going to just instantly go for the jugular. They're going to go, "What the fuck do you even mean woke?" But we're going to look at all this stuff, all the DEI/woke stuff, right? And it's going to be the movies, it's going to be the video games, it's going to be the music, it's going to be the programming, the shows, and it's going to be this bubble. And then we're all going to look back and be like, damn, we lived during that time where everybody was just so focused on these things that we were hyper focused on who someone was fucking, what color their skin was, whether they're a male or a female. We were looking at all these things instead of going like we lost our way. Instead of going like, hey, we should be looking at quality people. Like, is this person good? Doesn't matter who they do, what they do. I do believe that. Just like bell bottoms in the '70s, everybody wore them, but now they look back and they go, "My God, what were we thinking?" I think the woke shit's gonna be the same thing. We're gonna look back as time goes on and go, "What the fuck were we thinking?" I do, but what I'm saying would be considered controversial while it's happening, right? Just like many things, and I would say society itself, right? While something is happening, if you're speaking out against it, it's like it's not a popular thing to do. It's not till later on after they fucking dig up your bones somewhere and they go, ah, this person was right. But I mean, I guess this video is not so much more about New Vegas itself because, like I said, there's literally nothing new I can tell you about the game. The game's awesome. It's just more about where we're headed when it comes to video games in general, right? And I'm hoping that we start to heal. I'm hoping that video game developers start taking more risks and they stop being so scared. I hope that they start saying some racy shit, some controversial jokes, some dark shit, and have people get upset. It's okay. They're gonna get over it. They're gonna get over it. And if it don't compromise your vision. That's what I'm saying. I know that's easier said than done when you got to put food on the table. I'm one that understands completely. Sometimes you got to make some sacrifices. It's hard to play a game like that. Before I this will be my third time playing Fallout New Vegas to its entirety. I do plan to finish it the first time, second time, yeah, three times. And I'm going through all the DLC right now. I'm doing the base, the vanilla missions and all that, like the base game missions, and then eventually I'll move on to the storylines. I find myself worried that I'm going to revisit this game for a fourth time in the future because of Bethesda stuff or Obsidian stuff being so terrible. I hope that's not the case, right? I'm hoping that they pick it up and they make games that are more just fun to play. Like there was a DLC for Starfield recently. I paid the $100 edition, right? And I can download that DLC right now if I wanted to and start playing. I don't want to. I have no desire to. It's so crazy to have a Bethesda game fizzle out so quickly from the mainstream. You just can't blame that on the rapid fire, civilization that we live in now. Rapid fire information where something's hot for like literally a day and then the next day no one speaks about it, no matter how fucking crazy it is, right? You can't just blame it on our current day society. It's also the quality, right? Like no one gives a shit about this Starfield new content. That's the problem. Not even me. Someone who's a huge Bethesda guy has made Bethesda videos fucking praising them and worshiping them practically for most of my little YouTube thing that I got going on. The truth is the truth and it hurts. I know it's not cool to hear, but no one gives a shit about Starfield, man. Like I've never I remember I heard, I'm like, oh shit, it finally came out, the DLC that they were gonna say, you know, they were gonna release along with the $100 edition. And I swear after like a day or two, no one even gives a shit. I don't even think it's on like the Steam. I'm not even sure if it's on the give me 1 second. Let me check something. Let me check these stats to see if there's anyone playing Starfield at all. I would be surprised if they're not, to be honest with you, because just based on how huge Bethesda is, and how much of a reach from global audiences it has, I'm like, there's got to be somebody in like fucking Scandinavia or something playing. Damn, Arma's number 78. Arma just refuses to die. Arma 3. Power World 85. I remember when everybody was going crazy over that. No, no. I'm not looking at the most sold games. I'm looking at the most played games. And I know this is a very dynamic list that can change in just the span of a few hours, but like I don't see Starfield at all in this top 100. I see Fallout 4, number 68. Um, yeah, I don't see Starfield is not Dragon Ages. Where is it? Yep, just double checked right now. Starfield is not on the 100 list. So like, wow, that DLC came out fucking pretty recent, man, and it fizzled out. And I wonder if the people at Bethesda, or in this case, it would be Microsoft, right, because they own them. I wonder what is their excuse for that. Like, I wonder if they are being honest with themselves and going like, the shit that we're putting out is pretty bland, or they're not being honest and going like, oh, it's the market. The single player games aren't as popular as they used to be. Is it a mixture of both? Dude, I don't know. I'm always willing to listen, and I'm always willing to give someone the benefit of the doubt before I like condemn them. I hope and I wish that I get the same type of treatment, but no, that's not been my. People are very adamant in trying to destroy you before they have all of the facts. Sorry if I was really all over the place for this one. I always say that, and I understand that like that's part of my videos. I'm almost apologetic at the every end of the video because I feel like I ranted a lot, and I did, but also, this is life. It's about video games and life, and they're so tied together. This is why I make it I make it a point to always express to you how, like, I can't think of a better parallel to life than video games. And whatever's happening in life right now, including all of the DEI practices and stuff like that, they are being implemented everywhere, even in video games, and that is affecting the quality, whether you like it or not. Maybe you don't agree. Maybe you feel like games are great the way they are. I do not, and I've been playing games since I was single digits, and I'm going to be 40 soon, and I can tell you now that the quality of video games, in my opinion, from my experience, has decreased significantly, and a lot of it, if not all or mostly all, has to do with these DEI practices. I don't know. Maybe they need to loosen up. Maybe I need to loosen up. Dude, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I'm trying to figure it out in real time, just like you are. With that said, I'm out of here. See you guys soon. Or make you listen to me soon. We'll talk.